Dondi.
Hey, Dondi. Okay, so Riley and I are going to go through the topics one by one and each discuss it, and then if we have any disagreements or anything, we'll talk through it. Okay, so in the drawing basics part, we learned about how to make drawings with code. So we learned how you can put the shapes, and then you put, so like you would say ellipse or rect or triangle. Then you put two parentheses, and inside the parentheses you have the parameters of what you want it to be. So if you have an ellipse, it's going to be the x and y coordinates of the center of the ellipse, and then the width and the height.
The challenges on this one were just the simple snowman and then the waving snowman, both of which I thought were pretty simple. The one thing that Khan Academy is kind of funky about is like, we both have thought this, they don't give a lot of like not creative freedom, but like you have to be within their very strict parameters, which I thought was a little frustrating. Just in like learning code and stuff, I want to be able to mess around with it a bit more without getting the like error message that makes it hard to code. So that's something I didn't love about this whole Khan Academy as like a total.
One thing I did like about Khan Academy, well, there are a lot of things I like, but the number scrubbing, how you can change the numbers, because that would be kind of annoying. Okay, so then we learned about coloring. So essentially what you do is before whatever object you're coloring, you type fill, and then the left parenthesis, and then in Khan Academy it auto-fills into like the purest red.
Yeah.
So 25500, and then you can change it with the scrubber, but essentially it's red is the first number, green, and then blue, so you can kind of manually change it if you want to.
I think this one was interesting for me at first because I wanted to like know the numbers of like what colors are going to output what, especially once we move away from Khan Academy with the easy like scrubbing and stuff. And I had a little bit of trouble just remembering like which was red and which was green and which was blue. And I think if I were to have to like hard code that rather than like color pick a number, that would probably be something I would struggle with. But other than that, like this was pretty simple for me.
Okay, so then we learned about variables. So essentially, a variable is useful if you have multiple values that you want to change at the same time. So like on hers, it was like the bunny, and like you want to change the eyes at the same time instead of having to go through and do it individually. So essentially, at the beginning of your text, you write var and then name whatever variable it is, so like eye size, and then do the parentheses and then your value inside and then the semicolon, and then you plug in eye size into wherever you want that to be, so you can do it at multiple locations in your code, and then you can change it once on the var eye size part of your code, and it'll change everything at one time.
One thing that was really, interesting or hard for me to grasp here was just kind of an annoying habit. I like capitalizing the second word instead of like I all lowercase I, capital S size. It was like when I was typing them in, I would just want to do like all lowercase or uppercase or whatever, you know what I mean? So that was an annoying thing for me to kind of get the habit of when we first started doing this, but it was, other than that, I think pretty simple. Next we did the animations, which I thought was really the coolest thing that I thought about this, and then I wanted, like, I'll let you jump in and explain, but I actually thought the shortcuts that we got to later were really interesting, if hard to remember on this, and I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit. But yeah, like the plus equals whatever, the plus plus, I think that those are hard for me to remember, but I mean, I guess I'll get to that later.
Yeah, so essentially animation is like making your code move on its own, so that you could like have a car going across it or a ball bouncing or whatever. So when you animate something, you set variables to whatever you want, just like we talked about, and then you would say like, so if you wanted the eyes to grow, you would say eye size equals eye size plus 1 or plus 2. Yeah, within a function. The function makes it so that it runs it over and over again. Yeah. Something that took me a little bit to understand was the whole thing about like putting the background in the function so that it put the background, so it didn't just make that like string. But then once I understood it, I got it. But it was just, it was not something I would have thought about intuitively.
Something that comes naturally. Yeah, it's not natural for me to like think of it as it just rewriting the picture a bunch of times in different places.
But that's also cool to know, like, if you wanted one that like just places the picture over and over again, that would be a cool thing to do. Yeah, I think animation is definitely one of the things I had a harder time with learning and just kind of remembering how it works, like the function stuff. Every time I wanted to make an animation, I would just kind of start typing the code without a function, and then would get frustrated. Would be like, why aren't my eyes getting bigger? I'd be like, oh, that's right. It just kind of needs to be. I like the animation.
I thought it was interesting.
Look forward to like being able to play around with it more. I feel like it was very like, oh, you have to make it like the car go across, which is like, I get that.
Yeah.
It seems like there's so much you can do. Okay, then we learned that tiny part about the mouse interaction, which is really cool. So essentially, your mouse X and mouse Y are already programmed variables in the Khan Academy system that track the X location of your mouse and the Y location of your mouse. So then you can do a program where you input them as variables within the parentheses or something, like the parameters.
Yeah.
And then it tracks your mouse for what you do.
Yeah. I thought this was real. I would be interested to see if like other programs like do follow mouse movement as easily as JavaScript and Khan.
Yeah,
I'm
like
curious.
keep getting very suspicious that Khan Academy is just so much easier than like actual coding, and that we're just learning like baby coding. But, which is
we were talking
more than I knew. But
with Riley McCoy the other day, and she was saying how the JavaScript stuff that we learned from Khan Academy isn't running in like Replit for whatever reason, or whatever she was trying to do. So that's definitely something I think I want to try to see if that's just like JavaScript doing a lot of the actual hard stuff on the back end for us, or like kind of what's going on there. That's something I haven't explored that I think I want to now that she's mentioned it, to kind of see what's up with that.
Another part during this section was that the lady running the course, switched at one point and did mouse Y in the X coordinate and mouse X in the Y coordinate. And she was like, oh, you could make a whole game like where you had to draw something and like it's doing the opposite of what you wanted to.
That would be fun.
So I'm suggesting, Gandhi, that one of our projects should be a
game.
simple game that we have to create.
That would be so cool. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Resizing with variables, that was just like the plus within the functions.
So
this one was pretty simple. It's just like if you wanted to make the eye size bigger.
Yeah, it was like, so if you have a face or something that has multiple parts within a part and you want it to, when you expand the face, you want the eyes to also expand in proportion, then you create variables where you would say like eye size equals face size divided by 2 or something like that. So that it's coded in that no matter how big or small you make it,
everything is in proportion.
Everything's in proportion, which is also really cool. When I was doing it, my own project, I would get like, because I would just like put the numbers where I thought it looked nice. And so I'd have weird fractions. It would be like eye size equals like 49.50 seconds. Yeah.
Definitely would be interested to see how this is applied in like a more like numerical way rather than actually drawing, because I feel like mostly with all of this it's pretty easy for me to grasp like in terms of like creating a graphic or drawing or something, whereas I feel like if I'm trying to like do a code that like has output of something, it might be a little more difficult, and I'm not quite sure how all of these will apply to that.
Yeah. So the text and strings part, essentially you can have like a text and it'll do almost everything that a shape would, except you can't multiply it by the shape or like a number. But
simple.
Yeah, essentially you just have to put it in the parentheses as a parameter, but then put it in quotation marks so it knows that's a text and not a command.
Yes. And then, so I haven't personally explored functions or if statements at this point in time. I'm planning to do so sometime this weekend, and just kind of hopefully finish up this half of the stuff, but I'm interested to see if because in class it seemed like it was pretty simple, so I'd be interested to see once I actually like apply it, how actually simple it ends up being.
Yeah. Other
that's-
thoughts? Oh, I will say, Dottie. As I'm kind of looking into my post-grad future, maybe one of my options is doing post-grad service as a teacher. And I keep thinking about how, like, because I'm thinking about, like, upper elementary, so 5th grade. I could use basic coding to teach also, like, these math ideas. Like, they could go
Yeah.
back and forth, which I think would be really cool because
Yeah.
I never learned how to code.
And, like,
I think I
hands-on
was
stuff.
just, like, a little bit out of that, like, time. Like, I was just a little
To
bit
actually
too
learn
old.
in school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I think that would be a really good way for
I think
like
we're-
kids
yeah.
that age to
Well,
like
and it's just,
interact
like-
and just kind of still feel like they're doing something
It's
cool
like
and
a
not
way,
really.
especially on like this kind of thing where you can
Yeah.
see the immediate result. It's a way to see like, oh, that's what I mean by variable is that it changes.
Yeah.
Like it's a way to like lend physicality to the words that we use in math.
Yeah,
so.
definitely an easy way to see the applications because like 5th grade they're really getting into that like, why does this matter
Yeah.
kind of a deal. So I think this is something really interesting you could probably do with that.
Yeah, we're loving it.